30 minutes ago. All right, welcome back everybody to Corsace Closed 2024 round of 16, where we have what hopefully should be the closest match of the weekend. Seed 8 Intercambing, or Faker Camping, but we'll be calling him Intercambing, up against Kriller Seed 9. I think this is the match that all of the commentators on Full Circle, prayed and predicted to be the closest, and I hope it ends up being. I'm Vordy, and commentating this alongside me is the one and only T1G.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and yeah, this is a super exciting matchup. I've been really looking forward to it ever since we saw the qualifier results. Like you said, on Full Circle, we had a really hard time deciding between these two because they're so evenly matched just across the board. A lot of skill set overlap, and then some nice places where their skill sets don't overlap. So maybe you see some back and forth in the picks and bans and strategy. So very, very much looking forward to see how this match plays out.
Yeah, I believe that is the wrong flag, by the way. It's not Intercambing is obviously from Chile, not Canada, but it is going to be Kriller banning out the DT2 Darkish. I think that's pretty fair. I think the biggest strength Intercambing has in this matchup up against Kriller is going to be tapping. It's going to be DT2, Nomad 5, Nomad 2. But Kriller banning it out, he's one of the speed maps out, and Intercambing responding with surprisingly a hidden 1 ban. I expected him to ban one of the low ARs, maybe Nomad 6 or Hidden 2, but going for the more generic Hidden 1, which is interesting, so he's maybe more confident in the low AR, other than the, Hidden 1 said.
Yeah, and this is actually now the first match that we will have the opportunity to possibly see Nomad 6. Every match before this, all 5 of them that have been played as of yet have banned Nomad 6 in the first phase. This one, it was left open, so if one of these players wants to opt into Nomad 6, which would probably be Kriller over Intercambing, picking it, if he wants to opt into that with one of his first 2 picks, now we might, for the first time, get to see that pick. But Intercambing with the first pick, of course, going to be the Hard Rock one, going to jump into that big raw aim, which was very similar in placement. I mean, they only got 5th and 8th in qualifiers. It was a bit of a separation in score, but not super far apart in placement. So interesting to see him jumping into that first.
Yeah, I think the raw aim mechanics is always a bit of a dicey territory just because nobody's really hard stuck on aim mechanics. They'll always have a chance to at least put a decent score, but I do think Intercambing is super solid at aim, especially hard rock aim, so he should just be more comfortable on this than Kriller. But yeah, as you mentioned, Nomad 6, this is the first time it's open. It survived the first stage of bans. It's such a polarizing map, but hopefully we get to see it picked. But into the Hard Rock 1, relatively just generic, comfy aim map.
Yeah, this is just aim. There are a couple of little streams and bursts, but really not much more to it than just big screen jumps, and a pretty friendly BPM as well. I mean, this is only 195, not fast by any means, especially for Hard Rock 1 where you often see 200 to 220 BPM. So it's really just about the screen jumps, that Spartan style, which is generally pretty comfortable. We're literally just testing who has the better aim, and Intercambing betting on himself here in that regard with his first pick.
Well, I do think there is some almost mental boost that comes from winning an aim pick. There's something nice about winning a skill set that at times can feel so RNG, and also leaves him open for a Nomad 1 pick potentially, which I do think he'll also like to play. But so far, other than an early boost from Kriller at the intro, both players are doing very well. A little bit low on accuracy, which is surprising. It is hard rock, but it is, relatively simple rhythms on the aim. Both players hitting the section, but Kriller finding a break that gives the big combo advantage over to Intercambing.
Yeah, right at the end of that PI as well, so the next section going to be a little bit easier, going to give Intercambing the opportunity to build up some more combo lead as you're going through this second burst, which is really not very challenging, of course, compared to the buildups and the PIs. So Kriller's going to have his work cut out for him. Intercambing going to be in a pretty comfy place. The accuracy lead does go to Kriller, but okay, well, Intercambing breaks in the verse, and score lead could start working its way back over if Kriller can hold through this PI time.
Yeah, and here is where that little, bit of accuracy boost, that 1%, will make a difference, because as Kriller starts building that combo back up, that 150 combo advantage over Intercambing, he'll slowly close the gap, especially with that break from Intercambing. Kriller getting through it this time.
That's really big for Kriller, able to get through that entire section into the bridge. Gonna have quite the combo lead now. The score lead finally goes over his way. And we'll see how they perform on the back third of the map. Things don't get any easier, of course, but another miss from Intercambing, struggling on the aim sections here after looking pretty strong early on.
Criller has held on through. His aim towards the end of those big jumps seemed like it was just getting it done, but he's holding on, and now that score lead is going to start rapidly increasing. There's not much time left. Criller has to break soon for Intercambing to have a chance at taking this point back, and it's a much important one for him. It's his first pick, presumably his most confident one.
Yeah, I feel like I always question like a generic aim first picks, because they're just highly like volatile, right? You miss once or twice on big jump sections that your opponent hits, and it's just over. That's kind of what's happened here to Intercambing. Unfortunately, he's played the map mostly fine. Finally, a break from Criller near the end, but 100k lead. Not sure if that 300 combo is going to be enough to bring it back, but it's going to get a little closer at the end if Intercambing holds now.
With, I think, less than an eighth of the map left, I just don't think there's enough time, especially since AIM doesn't have much density. I do think that'll be the break point. I assume so. Just there's no way, right?
Yep,
yeah, especially with that break from Intercambing. Yep.
Well played here to really both participants. I mean, what's going to be 580k for Criller, 480k for Intercambing, just slightly above that after the spinner, of course. So good scores from both guys, but Intercambing just having trouble in kind of that second third, through the middle and into the bridge where he found most of those 4 breaks, and it was enough for Criller to really kind of run away with that. I mean, 100k, and that's with some struggles in the ending as well. So it's well played to both, but Criller just a bit better. Early break point. The confidence will maybe be there for Criller, and maybe we see the Nomad 6 first pick here. Finally, maybe.
Yeah, you could go like a Nomad 6 into a hidden 2 if that works well. And considering Intercambing got, not the best scores in the low ARs. Actually, wait, I think it was hidden 2 the... I mean, actually, no, hidden 2 is the low AR in the qualies, and their score differential was like 40k, so I think it'll potentially be more of a practice diff if Criller is really well practiced on the Nomad 6, which is extremely important for that map. He can go for a pick on it.
And there
he goes for it. There
Let's go, our first Nomad 6. The first chance we get to see it, and it gets picked immediately. Oh, baby.
Let's go. I mean, this is a pretty wild map. I think this map maybe has the most cooked, difficult pattern of anything in the pool, which is the 180 BPM back and forths. We'll see if anybody hits it.
Yeah, this map is really, really, really hard. I'm curious to see, will we find out why nobody's been playing it? Like, what are the scores going to look like? Air 7.4, CS 4.3. It's got a little bit of everything that you could ask for, I feel like, in a gimmicky map, right? It's got the reading, it's got the aim control, it's got the tapping control. So it's a very, very multifaceted sort of Nomad 6 pick. But I mean, it's
mapped by Boshi himself, and only the true reading players can make the most fried reading maps, because they know what hurts.
That's true. Like Yokespy also maps some just absolutely cooked reading maps. That's an interesting thing, but you can see instantly, right? You've got the overlap reading, the overlap aim, clear control, aim control, and early breaks there from Intercambing. Criller going to be out to an early lead.
Reference, this is the easy section.
Yeah, this is not hard, but it's not easy, but it's not hard by the map section.
No, I mean, it still looks very difficult, but it's only going to get worse. Honestly, I think we're getting into this. Criller actually hits it, and Intercambing misses. That is so much harder than it looks.
Yeah, Kriller's looking solid so far. Holding the 98 act, holding the FC still. Making it through these slider aim patterns as well. And this is why he picked this pretty clearly. Oh my goodness. He's still going, dude. Intercambing with another break. I mean, this one's like already quickly going to be out of reach, but we just need to see how long Criller can last with this FC.
This is an insane... What's so like deceptive about those sliders, by the way, is they change how fast they go. You have to know exactly how fast to go, otherwise you'll overshoot it or undershoot it. And they constantly change, the speed by like a factor of 2, so there's really no free section in this map, especially at the approach rating, but Criller 2/3 through with a full combo.
Yeah, and the rhythms in this sort of section aren't intuitive either, because there's no like new comboing or anything, but the gaps change. And there is finally the break from Criller. The Intercambing does trade it, so it doesn't really matter, but shame to break there. 3/4 of the way through with a really good score in hand. 600k to 300k. This one's been over since very early on, but man, what a play from Criller. This is, like you were saying before, right? If you are decent at this type of mapping and you practice it, I think you can do pretty impressive things on this, and Criller is showing that off.
And for reference, by the way, Intercambing has also definitely practiced snap. He's playing this well. He's hitting, I think, pretty much every slider, but it's just Criller is on another level. It'll be comfort on playing a map like this. As they both find some breaks on this ridiculous ending. Okay, this is just never getting FC'd in a match. Like that ending was toasted.
Yeah, that's it's very difficult, but man, what a play from Criller, right? 5 misses, most of them on that ending. Yeah, that's a 643k. I mean, that score's a palindrome. 643,346. Nice.
Nice.
I don't know if we're gonna get to see the map again, unfortunately. But Criller, if this is the only time we get to see it, putting on a pretty good performance for us.
Yeah, it is good that we got to see at least one person play this map very, very well. And considering Intercambing was also practice, so 300k is already a solid score, and 600k is something else. But Intercambing to respond, the raw aim didn't quite work out with the hard rock one, but there it is, the Nomad 5. I think this was the instant go-to. You lost the aim, Darkish GT2 was banned. You just got to go for the 240 BPM. Intercambing, very solid at tapping, and it's notably one of Kriller's, I don't want to say like weaknesses necessarily, but it definitely, yeah, out of all of the suit of his skill sets, speed is definitely not up there comparatively.
No, yeah, I would agree with you in principle there. Criller definitely not known for his speed, but I think he is at the level where, especially in an early round like this, right? This is the first pool in the bracket stage of the tournament, so it's technically speaking should be the easiest. I think he's at the point where he'll be able to play this relatively comfortably, you know, compared to a late round Nomad 5 where he would probably struggle quite a bit more. And we've seen upsets on this pick in the past.
Yeah.
We've seen players who were not expected to win on speed against a tapping favored player winning it anyway. Due to having maybe
where's the HR box?
Yeah, exactly. But early break from Criller, not what you want to see to start it off, as Intercambing gonna have the early lead in this one.
I do think a map like this, I think we've seen some very, very high scores on this map. I think notably, it was Henry got like all but like borderline close on SS. So if you're a very comfortable tapping player, you can definitely FC this because it's not too wacky. There's nothing much other than speed on this map.
Yeah, I have seen some people saying they actually thought it was easy, like compared to the rest of the pool, which, I mean, I think it's just a super binary skill set. There's the miss aim from Intercambing. See, that's what happens. Unfortunately, you can, you know, tapping players and aim, name a less iconic duo, I suppose, is kind of the popular way of looking at that. There are some infamous examples, but there's a big miss from Criller on one of the bursts, so it's going to hand it right back over to Intercambing in just a second here.
It is interesting. Whenever you have the sufficient amount of raw speed to play a map like this, it effectively becomes an A map because you're not going to mess up on the tapping. And 240 BPM, you know, at some of the spacing, it's still like not completely. If it was completely easy aim, people would be missing on aim. So definitely a sufficient challenge. But Intercambing once again with the lead after that miss from Criller. The Criller not too far behind on accuracy, so he's not, you know, he's still somewhat fine playing this map, and with another miss from Intercambing, if that happens, we'll have a chance.
Yeah, this is definitely not over as of yet. Still half the map to go. It's only a 30k lead. It's a, what, 1% at gap and a 150 combo. Like, that's just not that much of a difference with the amount of map that's left. So we'll have to see if either of these players breaks in the last third. Now, looking pretty comfortable on both sides, you gotta say. Criller up over 98%. Really nothing much to break on. It really is more about the aim through this part because there's just not much tapping requirement here. And they're both looking good. Oh, and there is that break from Intercambing. Okay. Door open for Criller. He is going to bring this back if he holds through the ending because that score gap is only 20,000 points.
I think finding the miss on the aim once again. Maybe not a
I
great
almost think that was a
day for Intercambing.
Oh my god, Criller got through that. That might have just won him the map. He's got to keep going, but yeah, I want to say the intercambing miss might have been a slider break. I saw a 50 on the screen, so I'm not positive, but either way, it's going to come down to the ending here. It's very, very close. Criller does break the stamina, maybe just running out right there at the end, and that should be enough for Intercambing to grab this at the last second as he holds into the ending. Just the superior tapping player didn't run out of stamina the way Criller did. The opportunity was there for the German player, but Intercambing is going to take over with the superior tapping skill into the outro. It's going to be a final score win of about 50,000 points. That ending is so note dense, like the score just goes crazy.
Yeah. I think like half of the difficulty of the tapping in the map, or most of it, is all in the ending there. And I mean, I guess it was deserved. In the end of the day, the tapping player won on the tapping section, effectively, after finding some misses on the aim. But it's going to be a much needed point for Intercambing. Really good that he won that. Otherwise, this match would have been looking pretty dire out the gate. 1-2 now, going into Kriller's second pick. And after the Nomad 6 win, how comfy he looked at it, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for the hidden 2, the AR8 hidden.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a hidden pick. It's one or the other, whichever he feels more confident on. Because you saw the hidden ban from Intercambing, of course, and like you said, Criller gonna most likely be the superior lower approach rate and reading player, and there it is, indeed. As predicted, Nomad 6 hidden 2. I'm honestly kind of surprised Intercambing left both those up and opted to ban hidden 1 first instead of one of those two maps, but perhaps will be stronger on the hidden 2 than he was on the Nomad 6. A little more, of course, of a straightforward map comparatively.
I mean, he definitely practiced the Nomad 6, that was for sure. And it is still surprising considering hidden 1 is CS5 AR 9.6, so bordering close to a hidden hard rock type feel. Obviously not the exact approach rating, but pretty close. You would think Intercambing would be more comfortable on the hidden 1 than something like hidden 2 or 3, compared to the Criller especially. Like, I think hidden 3 is going to be a great map for Criller. I assume it'll get banned though after this pick. But yeah, considering how well Criller did on the not even AR8, the Nomad, the AR 7.4 Nomad 6, should be pretty good in this as well.
Oh, and we are already in. Okay, so we'll see. Intercambing going to be down the break point, looking to see if he can recover that at some juncture here. I don't know if this is necessarily the place for it, but it is the first break to Criller, traded back instantly, and bit of an at gap thanks to that early stream. Criller is going to start off with a 4% lead in the accuracy department. Nothing to really write home about, of course, as of yet, since this map is 3 minutes long, so plenty of time. But a comfort level can sometimes be assessed based on accuracy.
Yeah, for sure. But so far, both players pretty close. Combos are even. But yeah, a map like this, there's never any free combo. All of these wide-angled, awkward jumps, so easy to miss on. There's not much raw reading in this map, but Intercambing going to be the first to break.
Yeah, that is going to be a slightly more meaningful break, as Criller is now up to 300 combo. It's a couple hundred combo lead, but there's a break from him as well. And, oh, boy, that aim pattern. Oh, goodness, Criller.
Oh.
What in the world? All right, let's see if he can recover that, because that is actually going to give Intercambing a lead now. That was shocking, I would say. Never expect to see Criller chain miss a pattern in a map such as this, but it is some tricky kind of wide-angle jumps, so if you're going to break on anything, it might well be that.
Yeah, to be fair, I think these types of maps are very easy to chain miss, especially with OD9, not the highest OD, and yeah, just the nature of AR8 hidden flow aim and patterns like this. If you miss one note, you might miss them all. That gives a slight lead to Intercambing now. Both in accuracy after that chain miss and combo.
This would be huge for Intercambing if he can pull this out, get a break point on the low AR hidden pick here. It runs Criller out of those low AR picks in the pool, and it makes the match even going into the second ban phase, so it'll be very good. See how long he can hold on. Just past halfway through, it's about a 30k lead for Intercambing, and looking pretty comfortable too. Has not really struggled at all since that early miss. Exactly as I say that, they trade a miss on both sides.
Here's the break for the nerves. It's basically an even board in terms of combo and accuracy, just a slight advantage Intercambing, but he does have that score lead. Not a large one though, which means if Criller can hold on and Intercambing finds a few more breaks, He does have the opportunity, as you said, to even it out, but that break is going to hurt a lot. A little bit of a chain miss as well. Criller holds on.
The accuracy now dead even. The combo about 100 in favor of Criller, which should be about enough to bring the score over his way as long as he keeps holding. But there is a miss on another one of those wide-angle kind of linear patterns. Criller clearly not pleased with that. The cursor dance out of frustration, surely. Intercambing with yet another break, though, so this one's going to stay very close. It's a slight combo lead to Criller. And another break. Players struggling with this map pretty heavily. And it's going to keep it very, very close. But we're going to be running out of time for Criller at this point, with 30k to try to make up.
Oh, and another miss from Criller. The low AR fatigue setting in. He does not have much time left. I think at this point he can only hope for a big chain miss from Intercambing. Like, if he missed that entire stream, maybe there was a chance, but Intercambing hits it.
Yeah, it's
now
not to
just
be,
able
though.
to close this out.
Intercambing just a little more consistent and solid on a pick that I think we kind of expected Criller to perform a bit better on. I'm sure he's not going to be pleased with a 382k. Intercambing going to escape with a 436k win by 50,000 points, and that ties it up just like that. Gets the break point back 2-2. Going into the second ban phase, and the momentum just quickly flipping right back the other way.
Goes to show why he did not ban the Hidden 2 or the Nomad 6. He was practicing the Nomad 6, but he felt pretty good on the Hidden 2, and they were pretty close on this in qualies. But now we're here, 2-2, going into the next bans. Actually, not sure. Yeah, he bans the Nomad 2. I assumed it was going to be the Nomad 2, but I was wondering if he was more comfortable in the 211 compared to the 240 potentially. Intercambing, most likely is going to ban Hidden 3. I can't imagine him banning something else, but actually Hard Rock 3. Interesting.
I mean, after how the Hidden 2 just went, and considering that, you know, Intercambing, generally speaking, like, I think a little better at Hidden than his qualifier results may have indicated. The Hard Rock 3 maybe plays a little more into Criller with that kind of, like, swing rhythm Hard Rock tech thing. Maybe Intercambing just not 100% comfortable with that map. Hard to say exactly, but clearly must be okay with the Hidden 3 to leave that up, and he's going to opt into a different Hard Rock. So he's going to ban... Okay, so he first picked Hard Rock 1, he second banned Hard Rock 3, and now he's picking Hard Rock 2. It's an interesting approach to the Hard Rock pool, if I do say so myself.
I'm also surprised, I think DT3 was also potential ban, just because Criller does have #1 on the leaderboard on that right now. And that map also has a little bit of swing, some awkward rhythms as well. But is open for Criller, potentially Intercambing, feeling pretty good on the map as well, but Midorigo Queen Bee, 6.5 obviously, and very flow, aim, control focused. We'll see how his precision is feeling. After the Hard Rock 1 and some of the aim misses on Nomad 5, this is hopefully a opportunity for Intercambing to redeem his aim.
And Intercambing, of course, as we mentioned earlier, did have pretty good results on the Hard Rocks in qualifiers. Got 5th place on both of them, with Criller getting 8th and 9th, respectively, but with sufficiently lower scores in both cases. Pretty clearly delineated, I would say, there. So Intercambing definitely going to feel, I think, perhaps like the stronger Hard Rock player in general, despite the results of Hard Rock 1. So we'll see how this one ends up playing out. This map is quite challenging on the flow department at CS 6.5, as you said.
Yeah, I think the biggest difficulty is the cuts. The flow itself isn't too bad. I don't think it gets too brutally spaced, but the cuts in between the patterns are really, really rough. Those cheeky cuts at 6.5. Luckily, the BPM isn't too high, so you do have quite a lot of time to readjust your aim compared to normal, like 180 BPM streams.
There goes a huge ACK drop from Intercambing. Does hold on to the combo, but down to 95 ACK versus Criller. I don't know how you get this ACK on this map, and there goes Intercambing. The flow aim does fall off there a little bit on that curvy into circle stream, and now Criller with a massive advantage. He's got 6% accuracy lead and a 440 combo lead. Not how you want the beginning of this map to go, because that's realistically the easiest of the harder parts of this pick, if that makes sense.
I mean, you're right as well. That accuracy, I think generally speaking, low BPM, OD10 is much harder to act. You have to be so controlled because it's often you're essentially restraining yourself from over tapping at this BPM, and Criller finding no struggles in the act department, holding through a huge 700 combo as well. In that break from Intercambing, it's now already looking pretty doomed.
Yeah, this is not great at the halfway mark to see Criller nearly doubling Intercambing's score, and will be doubling it now. Still holding on to the FC, making it through that more spaced flow pattern right into the break, and they'll get a chance to see the score. I mean, look at that, right? Nearly a 5% AC lead, a massive combo lead, and a 220k score lead as well. This is going to take some serious work from Intercambing to try to come back from, and it would take a full, complete meltdown from Criller to give him kind of that opportunity in the first place.
And I mean, I just don't think Intercambing expected this. Obviously, when he picked this up, he did not anticipate Criller to be FCing at this point with 99%. I don't think he's having the best run for himself, but there's just no way. This is what he expected, and there's no way we see two people FC this map in two back-to-back matches. Obviously, Emmerich did it. I already found that impressive to see it happen once in this round. He's on pace.
And also M2I4, or no, was it? There were one of the matches yesterday. They're blurring together a little bit for me, and I apologize. But one of the players broke like on the last pattern at the end, I believe, as well. So
I mean, it makes sense. The ending
really
is
good scores.
Pretty rough. The slider aim section, the ending here.
Criller just still holding on. I mean, and Intercambing like has a really solid recovery combo, right? He has not missed in the back half of the pick, coming into this sort of crazy cut flow space patterning, and he finally does break. But meanwhile, Criller, it's just all eyes on Criller at this point, as he is still holding on to the FC, just shy of 99 AC. And look, I don't know, just watch this. Oh man, this is crazy.
How does this get FC'd twice, dude?
No, you had to say it, brother. You had to say it.
My bad. Missing other cuts right at the end. Look, still a million score. Still a million score. We count that as a low AC FC. Imagine his accuracy is 96% and his combo is maxed out, and then he's FC. Okay, it's the same. It's all good.
Low combo FC, I reckon. That was like the last cut flow pattern that he could have possibly missed on too. Unfortunately, even hit like the like weird sliders at the end. I've actually seen people miss on those before, so it's not like a foregone conclusion. That's look at nice round score there from Criller as well. 1,052,000 on the dot. Planned out the spinner perfectly, and that's going to be another break point. Criller taking the lead back over 3-2 going into his own next pick.
That is a very aesthetic score. Don't often get to see, other than like Nomad SS's maybe, scores end on 3 zeros. But yeah, that is a fantastic breakpoint from Criller. It's going to give him a lot of momentum going into his first pick of this, after the second ban round. He still has hidden 3 if he wants to go for it. I mean, the reason I was a bit surprised to see hidden 3 left open is because out of all of the hidden skill sets that Criller has, I often associate him with hidden tech specifically. And that hidden 3 is a little bit on the techie side, especially at the end. He does go for the DT3 though. This was as well another pick I mentioned. He does have global rank 1 on this map with like a absurd AC, like 99.7 AC score. As you mentioned, there was some swing in the Hard Rock 3, and there's a little bit of swing in this one as well. So definitely up Criller's lane, but how well can Intercambing fare?
Yeah, I like both of the 3s in the hidden and the DT pool here for him. So maybe we'll see the hidden 3 as the next pick for him after this. But I think this is definitely a good one. When you're number 1 on Bancho, that map probably is going to look like a good pick for you.
Yeah.
Hard to say otherwise. Similarly, Nomad 4 I believe is right up there at the top. So a couple picks in mind for Criller where he has gone and asserted dominance on the leaderboards, and we'll see if he can match that dominance in the match as well. Really, really good finger control DT player Criller is. Has set some crazy scores on maps in this skill set before. So what's one more? That being said, Intercambing has always been a solid DT player, right? Generally speaking, pretty good with the tapping mechanics stuff, whether it's raw stamina speed or whether it's a little more of the finger control. So hopefully this can be a contested one, but you like to think that Criller is probably favored considering the performances we've seen from him on this map online already.
He's definitely favored, but there's at times a Bancho leaderboard rank 1 curse where you're just expected to do so well on the map that you might end up playing worse and having a bottom local in match. But already has a big AC lead. This map is brutal to AC. So many of these sliders, you can sort of hear it end on a 1/3 instead of a 1/4. That makes the rhythm a little bit harder to read. But already being really well practiced on the map, he's completely fine on it. Intercambing that 94%, showing some struggles. But as long as he's holding a combo, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, it's just the... I mean, that act gap, I feel, right, is like the most important thing at this juncture.
Yeah, I mean, considering he has played this map enough to get over 99.7, he's definitely going to be favored on the accuracy department. But there's always a chance. That score lead is pretty big just because of the accuracy, but that means nothing if Criller misses soon and Intercambing holds. But if this goes to an FC versus an FC, which I probably doubt will happen, obviously Criller does have the lead.
Yeah, we were looking at that break at a 60,000 score lead just on accuracy alone. I mean, 4% accuracy does add up. So even if Criller were to break, Intercambing would have to hold for quite a while to bring the score back, just thanks to that gap in accuracy. So we'll see what happens though as they just both continue to hold. Is that an FC? I don't actually know if it's an FC from Intercambing with a bunch of missed slider ends, or if he broke right at the start.
I think it's missed slider ends just because I think it's very easy to let go of a lot of these sliders early, just because of where the end is placed on the editor.
FC versus FC, but the comfort level clearly higher for Criller on that accuracy, but there's so many little things you can still miss on. A quarter of the map still to come. The lead pretty firmly in his favor, but as long as Intercambing holds the FC, he always has a chance until, you know, we get to the very last seconds. But Criller just looks so good. Both players just look so good, man. I don't know, the double FC, it threw nearly 1,500 combo, and they're just refusing to break on anything. But Criller maintaining a 99 act.
They both hit the back and forth.
Oh my
goodness, both hit the back and forth.
Nah, this is absurd.
Oh, this song is just thumping as well, but Criller on 99%, massively outscoring Intercambing just off accuracy. There's no way they both hold on to the end.
Oh
they
my
both
goodness.
Hit that cut. Oh, this is maybe the best back-to-back score of the weekend so far. This is absurd.
Yeah, I mean, Nomad 1 double FC is one thing, but this DT3 double FC will be something completely different. Finally, it is going to be the break from both players. It's going to be no FCs at all. After all that, it's going to come to the end with neither player closing out a full combo, but Criller will escape with the 100k lead thanks to that massively superior accuracy. It is an S rank for Intercambing, just the slider break, unfortunately. But that was
some
a battle.
Absurd scores. Yeah, that is insane that both players did so well. I think if you're Intercambing, you're like, how did I not win that? I got 960k on this, you know, insanely difficult DT3. I hit all of those cut patterns, and still Criller just a little bit out ahead.
Oh, when you're against the player who's as good at the map as Criller is, you know, I think have to do something special. I mean, dude has a 5/100 FC on the leaderboard. Like, come on.
That is a wild pick, but actually Intercambing picking the hidden 3.
He won hidden 2. He won the hidden 2.
You're right. He did win the hidden 2.
He's good at this hidden pool, other than the hidden 1 apparently. So I don't know.
I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna see how this plays out, because on paper I wouldn't expect this pick at all. But Criller hasn't picked this up until this point. As you mentioned, Intercambing won the hidden 2. But at the same time, this does seem like a Criller type map.
Yeah. That being said though, like, we've seen Intercambing set pretty good like tech scores in the past. I mean, this wouldn't be the most shocking thing. It's just knowing what we know about Criller makes it a little more questionable. But you know, you have that argument of like, do I try to pick away from my opponent's strengths, or do I just pick into my own strengths? And so if you have a really good score on this in practice, you know, who cares what the other player can do, because you know you're going to set a good score on it. You know, maybe that's the approach here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's you always want to prioritize picking maps you think you can do well, especially up against like top players who'll be able to play a lot of stuff well. But Intercambing going to be the first to miss in the intro. Really not finding any breaks just yet. Holding on to an SS right now as well, maybe showing some comfort. is sort of expected on the skill set.
Yeah, I definitely expect Criller to do really well in this. We've extolled his virtues as a tech and hidden player to a great extent by this point. We'll see how long this SS holds. We'll see how long these combos hold. But early lead, Criller's way once again. Now, I'll mention we have not seen a match yet this week closer than 6-2. So if Intercambing can put at least one more point up on the board, regardless of final outcome, we'll be getting a new closest match of the week. So. Earlier, though, I have to deny that from happening.
Yeah, for the love of enjoying close matches, I do hope that happens. But missing early is a little bit unfortunate, just because I think I mentioned this when this was last picked. But halfway through this map, it does pick up quite a lot. You have this triple bam section here. Oh. Intercambing finding a miss, unfortunately. Criller though, trading.
Yeah,
and that's really big. That was a much-needed miss from Criller to give Intercambing that opportunity to take this back.
We get into this little, like, aim control section, the wide-angle jumps, into some more triples. Both players calming down a little bit after the traded misses. Everybody holding through so far, so good in this section. And there we are. Halfway through. Slight combo lead to Intercambing, but Criller makes up for it with the accuracy lead, so he'll hold on to the score. It's going to stay pretty close for the time being, though.
And this is where the map turns much more into a tech map. Get those 1-6 patterns, a lot faster slider aim. Intercambing, though, finding this, I think that was on the flame pattern, but Criller hitting the cut stream as well.
My. And Intercambing just evaporated into a fine mist. Unfortunately, that was a screen full of unhappy red X's, and Criller out to a 90k lead just like that, holding through a really challenging section while Intercambing struggled heavily. And technically comebackable for Intercambing still, but not by any easy sort of stretch of the imagination.
And this is where, if this was Criller's pick, I would be like, yep, this is happening as sort of expected. Criller's doing pretty well, Intercambing finding a few struggles on the expectedly difficult parts of this map. But it just, once again, puts the pick in question. As Criller, 99% accuracy as well. I mean, this isn't like a lucky score of his, this is just him being super comfortable on the skill set. As Intercambing finds a bunch of misses, and it's a little bit of a cursor dance. Luckily, he's back into the gameplay.
Criller is absolutely just going off on this, though. I mean, this is such a solid performance. Finally does find I believe a slider break maybe there, but 99 AC. The score is actually, like, the score itself is worse than I would expect considering how well he's played the map. Like, I feel like this is deserving of better than, well, the ending is note dense, I guess.
Yeah, that is.
I forgot about this weird section. Let's see, maybe about 575? 585? Okay. Yeah, see, I feel like that should have been more than like over 600k for Criller with that performance. One miss, just shy of 99 AC. Like, I feel like that's deserving of more than a 587k personally. But like you said, it throws the pick from Intercambing into question a little bit. You knew Criller was probably going to put up, a 500,000 plus score in some capacity. So, I wonder why, like, we still see the DT2 available, for instance.
DT2
or the
is banned.
DT1, excuse me. We see the DT1 available,
for sure. Yeah.
And I don't know, would, like, to go down 5-2, picking into hidden tech, which is a really well-known skill set for Criller, kind of got to question that a little bit.
And, speaking of tech, Risei Gun Nomad 4 is still open. Obviously, it's going to be, I think, more in Intercambing's comfort zone, but he's going to pick the alt, which is also a good pick. I think there's a lot of good Nomad options. And one thing I was going to mention is, I think the one element that I think makes Hidden 3 more of a realistic pick is the fact that there wasn't too much in the pool, I feel like, where Intercambing was super favored. I mean, you have Nomad 1, but after the Hard Rock 1, do you really want to pick it? You have DT1, which I do think is a good pick as well, but maybe Intercambing's aim not feeling the best today. So maybe he wanted to go for something else, and I do think Nomad 3, Nomad 4 is more in Criller's lane. But we get it, all of the lights, an absolute banger. Love to see songs like this get pulled for tourneys.
Yeah, I mentioned this previously, but like when I saw this map uploaded, and I was like, somebody has to pool this at some point. And here we are. It's a cool one. You know, a little bit diff spiky, right, with the key eyes. Being it feels weird saying key eyes about an English song, but whatever. Being considerably more difficult than the verses. But very cool map. Throws kind of all the different alt styles that you'd want at you between flow and snap aim. And you know, I think this pool like gives a lot of options to players who are super comfortable with unconventional picks. And I think in a matchup like this, that really advantaged Criller quite a bit, as they overlap, as we said at the beginning, a bit in those skill sets, but Criller is just a little bit better most of the time. And I think you're kind of seeing that on this pool, where he just has a few more options available to him. Because like we still have the Nomad 4 available, right? If he doesn't win this one, he still has that option that I think would be super favored him as well. Whereas if you're a happing mechanics especially player, you have Nomad 2, Nomad 5, DT2, and at least one of those will get banned. So there's a little less. There's fewer for that skill set type of player. And this song is a banger.
Yeah, for sure. This is a banger as well. And there was I think I was going to mention, in qualies, Intercambing did get 16th overall on the Nomad 3, which is probably part of the reason why Criller picked this, but Intercambing looking so much better on this map than he did in the ult map in qualies, and Criller the first to break on that massive flow aim hexagon.
It's gonna be Intercambing with a pretty hefty combo lead off of that break, so I do think Nomad 3 maybe is a contested sort of slot for these two guys, which is why I sort of think we may have anticipated Nomad 4 instead of Nomad 3 here, but a lot of map to go. One break is not going to be the end of it in all likelihood.
Indeed.
Players looking super comfy on these jump
snap
patterns. And yeah.
I do think as well in a map like this, the snappy patterns are actually more doable, but I think Intercambing fighting a slider break. Now Criller with the combo lead once again. He has to hold this on for a little bit longer to really secure that score lead, but it is definitely going to be easy in this quote-unquote free section before the next difficult part.
Yeah, this is a really good time to have a combo lead. Be able to build it up a bit more kind of for free. But we're going to get back into the next difficult section here, into that big flow pattern, and Intercambing is the one to fall this time on the hexagon. Criller holds, and there goes the score lead his way into the next chorus.
Now Criller just looking more comfortable as this match goes on. As I say that, he does find a break, and now it's really evened out. Criller's AC advantage has dipped a little bit, and now Intercambing with a slight combo lead. Scores are very similar, both players. Oh my, how did both players hit that?
I don't know.
Okay, that's insane. I also can't believe MCY4 FC this, by the way.
He's really good.
That was pretty ridiculous.
MCY4 is really good at alt.
Like, this map has so many, like that hexagon, like there's no way you don't miss on that at least once in the map and match. But right now the scores are pretty much dead even. Intercambing holding a bit of a combo lead. Can he hold it on though?
120 advantage. Accuracy leads slightly to Criller, but not by any sort of huge margin. So there goes the score over. Oh, and he does break on that snap pattern while Criller holds. And it goes right back on over. Now Criller's got everything in his favor. He's got the combo, he's got the accuracy, he's got the score lead. And this is going to be coming into the last quarter where, of course, the song really does calm down. And that, get a little break, a little free time. You're just burning clock right now in this break time. You're just burning clock.
Oh, I mean, this must be nerve-wracking at this
absolutely.
point. It's such a small score lead. Do not over-aim or under-aim that tick.
Alright. There's like one more section at the end, right? At the very, very end, there's... I don't know if it's going to matter, but there, I think, is one more section. Yeah.
Yep.
And they both hit the flow pattern into the last chorus here at the very end. Criller with a 30k lead should be enough, but he's got to hold on to the last second because Intercambing hot on his tail. But I think it should be enough here.
I believe so.
What we
both
thought
players.
Both players looking so strong.
Yeah, both players. Oh, actually, Criller does find a break. I think Intercambing as well. I'm not sure. I think that would have been right at the end before the score is closed. But it is going to be GG's. Criller winning the Nomad 3, 99%, taking the match 6-2.
And that is going to be yet another, on paper, not so, on the scoreboard, not so close match. And this is actually going to be our first technically upset. 8 versus 9, not going to feel like much of an upset, but that is the first lower seeded player to win on this weekend. But it is a continuation of a weekend of not very close scorelines, unfortunately. Despite the fact that Intercambing did play pretty well, Criller was just better in the crucial moments, finding a couple fewer breaks here and there, and able to leverage that into the 6-2 victory. He'll go on to face, unfortunately, in all likelihood, Malashevsky next week. In all likelihood, unless Window Life pulls off a humongous upset.
Yeah, it's either he's going to be facing Malashevsky or we see one of the greatest upsets of all time. See what happens. I honestly wouldn't mind an upset. It's always exciting, but
I just want to see a competitive match this week because, like I said, there were some close scorelines in this one, but the final margin of victory was 6-2. Like, it just doesn't look that close. So it'd be cool to see, a fight. And we might get a battle in the next match. In about 15 minutes time, we're going to have Decaton versus Scroll. And that is another one where I think in our predictions and our discussion, we said that could be one that could definitely be a battle between those two players because they're very closely matched, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure. I think the two matches we were the most undecided about was this one and the Cadence Scroll. So this ended up being not as close as we hopefully hoped for, but hopefully the Cadence Scroll, hopefully one of these matches this weekend breaks the 6-2 curse. I'm praying.
That would be nice. So yeah, we've got Decaton versus Scroll. It's about 13 minutes, 17 UTC, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. That's if you're in the U.S. like I am. And then 19 UTC, Malashevsky versus Window Life will be the last match of the week. So there will be an hour break in between Decaton Scroll and Malashevsky Window Life matches. But that's going to do it for us for the moment. Congratulations on the win to Criller. A well-deserved 6-2 victory. He'll move on. And we will see you guys on the other side of this break. I've been T1G. He's been Vordy. Thank you for sticking with us through the first week here at Corsace Closed. We'll see you guys in just a little bit for the last couple matches of the week.
Yep.